Well, Jim was actually attached to the movie before I was, and that was what was really appealing to me about it. Is I love the idea of the script and of Danny Wallace's book, and then with Jim Carrey on top of that, to me it was like, well, this is a great idea for a comedy, because it really, I like what the movie has to say about sort of embracing life, and then I also really like the idea of here's an opportunity to put Jim Carrey in an infinite number of situations where he has to say yes to these things. So spending time with Jim and the writers early on, kind of coming up with these comedic situations, was a blast. Yeah, and I was sort of, I'd never met Jim before this movie, and I really was pleased to find that our points of reference were really similar. I could reference some obscure movie or TV show or something like that, and he got it and sort of knew it verbatim. So we had a great time together, and I think we all had fun sort of trying to make each other laugh on the set. And for me, and the way I like to work, it's important because that stuff definitely translates on screen. If the mood, the mood of the set, and particularly for a comedy. Because I think, to do what Jim does, it takes a lot of energy and also a lot of confidence. And part of my job is sort of like creating an environment where he can feel free to to screw up, Well, Danny Wallace wrote this book based on something that he actually did. His girlfriend had broken up with him. He'd been kind of depressed and isolating himself. And he met a guy on a bus, and he was telling him about a situation. And the guy said, you need to get out of your rut and just say yes to life more. So Danny took that very literally, and for a year of his life decided he was going to say yes to any opportunity that presented itself. And his book is sort of this episodic thing about all the weird paths that it took his life on. Yeah, well, we really, we like the idea, or I like the idea of shooting in Los Angeles, but showing, presenting a part of LA that you don't always see in the movies, and it's all specific to this Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Echo Park neighborhood, and then also, in Hollywood, shooting things like the Observatory and the Hollywood Bowl, but placing these characters in this very real neighborhood that doesn't have anything to do with the movie or TV business. So that was fun because there's a lot of really visually amazing things that I hadn't seen in a movie before. Well, Rhys Darby was someone that I'm a huge fan of Flight of the Conchords, and Rhys plays the manager on that show. And when we were trying to figure out this character of Jim's boss, he seemed like a great idea. And Rhys put himself on tape in London and sent us the tape, and it was like, okay, that's the guy. So I'm really proud because Yes Man is his first movie, and I think he's terrific in it because he's incredibly funny, but there's also something really heartbreaking about him, and you want Jim's character and his character to sort of become friends because he's sort of an annoyance to Jim at the beginning of the movie, and also someone who has done stand-up and improv for years and really can hang with what Jim does. So he was great. Well, it was something Jim and I talked about from the beginning, and the whole first third of the movie, Jim is basically the straight man, which is not what he's used to, and it was really fun because Jim has a whole body of comedy, so when someone goes to see the movie, they know Jim Carrey's a funny guy, so it allows him to be able to be a straight man, and it's still funny. So, it's great in those scenes because he kind of lets Rhys Darby, go off, and in his scenes with Michael Higgins at the beginning, Michael's the lunatic in those scenes, and Jim is actually the more calm guy. And it's fun throughout the course of the movie to see Jim's character loosen up and become a little more like the Jim Carrey that everyone knows.